I'm Eley Williams. My book is Attrib and Other Stories, and it's published by Influx Press. And I'm going to read A Light at the Next, or part of A Light at the Next. When the carriage doors do their thing, it being after hours when my thinking is unsavoury and also far from sweet, knowing we are at the stop nearest my house, and I'm going to have to summon the courage to ask you to come back, the whole cadence of my composed speech set to work in time with the slowing of the tube train, the slowing with a whinge of not hinges, but a kind of mechanical sighing, and when the doors, please mind, when the doors are opening and you are standing closer to me than you ever have, and I have been counting and measuring, and the doors have opened, and a man pushes on to get inside the carriage before I've had time to step down, so without thinking, and certainly without hinges, I am holding out my hand and placing a finger in the middle of his forehead. He freezes. The carriage freezes, a carriage steamed up and bulbous with umbrellas and the slapping batskin wings of waterproof jackets. And the man doesn't look in my eyes, because this is London, damn it, but he halts there, one shoe up on the train. I look like I am blessing him. I hope no one thinks I am blessing him. I hope you don't think I do this regularly, you standing so irregularly close to me like this. And the angle of the man's nose is precisely 45 degrees. This was distracting. I wish someone had a protractor so I could show you how precisely at 45 degrees this man's nose was, but who carries protractors on the district line? And what kind of pervert even knew what the set square and the geometry set was for, unless one is the daughter of a naval architect, say, or wanting to prove the angle of a man's nose inches, imperial inches from one's own. And I wish, not for the first time, that London had bars, or at a push a wooden buffet carriage on the tube, because I would keep my finger there against his forehead, hold out my other hand, and perhaps you would slide a whiskey down across the bar to me, and I would drink it, and I would pull my hat down as your arm came across my shoulder, to show you that we were a crack team at getting the tube to my stop, that we were as good as Bonnie and Clyding this evening. This thought breaks down when I remember I don't like whiskey, spelled with an E or without. This Bonnie and Clyde metaphor breaks down too when I remember that the real-life Clyde, in jail, in order to get out of breaking rocks, took a spade and cut off some of his own toes. I would not want you to have a toeless lover. I want you to have a lover who can stop this man in his suit and tie. I want you to have a lover who is not embarrassed to say the word lover in a carriage filled with tired, final round West Londoners. And this man, this awful man in a tie that's red, and if I squint down at it, the tie, past his set square 45-degree nose, his tie looks like a botched tracheotomy dribbling past his... No, that's not fair. It's a nice tie, and he just has someone to get to, and I just want to seem like a person that can stand up for themselves on the tube, let alone keep standing, when you really are standing so very close to me. It used to have "Mind the Gap" written at this station, in yellow on the platform edge, but now it says "Mind the Step." The difference is crucial. Even the platform is a coward and uses polite, shirking rhetoric and less capitalisation now, even as my finger is still on his forehead, and the doors are shutting. And we will both miss my stop, and I might lose a finger, but Clyde of Bonnie and Fame lost some toes, and I might be played by Warren Beatty some day. So I give this man's forehead a little jab, the smallest pressure. He has not met my eyes this whole time, like someone has thrown the book at him before. And I make a boiled sound because I am the first to admit that my spirit animal is probably a buttered roll, and that I create characters and situations where I am brave for the same reasons that some people love the stuffing of caught birds. Pigeons get caught on the carriages sometimes. I've seen it, with my oyster in my pocket, spring in my step-toes. I forget sometimes what the words preclude and nascent mean. It has been a long day for everybody, even for pigeons, and it is forgetfulness that makes me brave at the sound of this gamelan of joists and hot steamed grit zoom that is pulling into stations. I am certainly braver than before, when the pre-U afternoon got jumbled with the U evening at rush hour, where throats squirmed in the old smoke and stream of tunnels, a world pinstriped by eyelashes, uproarious with the need for a Friday, downroarious with lost cards. There are earphones trailing from this man's neck, and they squeak with chords that have the obtuse delicacy of a dove retching. The thought of you unscrews my head. And if you record the rip of a glacier through ice and modulate its frequency, it sounds like whale song. And we often have cause to think of glaciers and their pace and place on the district line. But we are still here, with my E.T. finger set against his forehead. He does not wear a wedding ring, and I construct a reality for him wherein he, after an argument with his wife, stamped out of the house and tried to remove the ring. Could not. Had to buy a cheap bottle of salad cream at the corner shop by his tube station to use as lubricant so that he might loosen it from his hand. And I had one drink this evening, so it's unlikely to be the stout that makes me brave or foolhardy. Stout that tasted feminine, of ashtrays, bran and old lipstick. You were so clever, I remember thinking, badly. You were so clever, and you know so much. And I often think the only way that I could protect you if you ever asked, because you know you would never need to be protected, and would kick me for trying, you were certainly standing close enough, it would be to snap off your head and roll it out of harm's way for the nation's sake. And I forgot. I simply forgot the way that love becomes a whimsy in the full throttle of throats, the buzz of flightless eyelashes against a pillowcase on a winter's evening, when pigeons grow full fat against the frost, and the letter P in the word receipt begins ticking at the clock teeth, the watched rim of a clock that I wake up to find the time, from being a cameo in my own dreams where I occasionally look straight to camera and spoil the shot. I forgot about waking to dumb punk dawns, me, a hopeless sometimes son type whose act is hardly ever there, delivering unheimlich manoeuvres like this finger on the centre of this man's forehead. And somewhere beyond us, an escalator squeals, a pushchair squeals, the child in the pushchair squeals. I only do not squeal because you really are standing so very close. Look how far my arms can go around things, I want to say. I could hug a whole telephone box. And I've had too much, perhaps, of the good stuff, and Lord knows there's a lot of the world we're missing as I do something important with this here man in this here tunnel. For example, we're missing an overly busy sky with a warp and a weft to it, like tweed, starlings making a tweed of the sky. For example, we're missing a snail insisting that he's in the haulage business. We're missing drinking hot chocolate in the continental way, kissing in a gorse bush. We're missing chewing gum until my jaw is black and blue and the world is tired mint, district line coloured. But throwaway lines like this will be all right, because today my eyes are chintz. Today my eyes are tiger skin. Today my eyes are traitors. Today my eyes are Delftware, and he's met them finally. Is beneath a verb? Perhaps I'm thinking of bequeath or breathe, and each of his eyelashes is a candle wick, and now I find that I cannot look at him full on in case I press my heart out through my teeth. And time passes, in and out of consciousness, and the man steps back, and the tube doors shut. And you really were standing so very close to me as the train moved, itself, beneathing.